Round 1.
Living in the shadow of your husband? Mine, he made me a lot of promises, and I believed every single one of them. We all make mistakes, Monet. I'm just trying to correct mine.
It doesn't matter, it's too late.
Round 2.
Let's go back inside.
Finish!
Alright, so we have Power Book 2 Go Season 4, which is going to be dropping next year. But at the same time, we got Power Book 4 Season 2, and then we also got Raising Kanan coming in December. So we're gonna be good for quite a while, and also BMF that's gonna be dropping in March. So we're gonna be satisfied for quite a while. But you know what? I was just like, listen, everything that kind of like went down in Power Book 2 Go Season 3, and all of the developments, and Lorenzo's death, and you know, Tariq being falsely accused of trying to take out Monet and all of that stuff. So I was just like, listen. So since we have, like, I guess Agent Don Carter, which he's gonna be coming into like Power Book 2 Go Season 4, and he's gonna be working on a task force, and he's like this rising star as a police officer, right? And you know, he's gonna be working on some things to potentially take down like the drug game, right? And obviously Tariq's name is gonna like pop up in his search engine because he's gonna be like, well, okay, Tariq St. Patrick, and then they're gonna just go down the list of the people that he's been affiliated with, and you know that's gonna happen, right? But I guess like the question is this gonna be like, okay, since he lost his wife due to like the whole gang violence and the things that happen on the street, like, will he have like a new love interest? Will it even be Monet? I was kind of thinking it might be actually Tasha. I was kind of thinking that too, but then again, it wouldn't make too much sense because Tasha is still in like witness protection. But I was just like, you know, she came out of witness protection just to shoot Monet, so I'm like, well, could she actually still be around in season 4, which I think so. And Monet, when she gets out the hospital and everything happens, and she, you know, try to hunt down Tariq or whatever, or try to like get some sort of information, because we don't even know what type of Monet we actually gonna get like after when she like comes out the hospital bed. Like, will she start reflecting on some things? Because you know, when a person gets shot, a lot of things goes on in that person's brain, where it could either be regret, it could be remorse, it could be anger, 5 stages of grief. It could be maybe, well, not 5 stages of grief, but what is it? I think 5 stages of grief, and I think it's even 5 stages of denial. I don't know. It's one of those 2 stages, but I know that she's gonna be going through a lot after when she gets out of recovery, right? Now, will she actually go after Tasha? Like if word gets out that Tariq didn't do it and it was actually Tasha, I'm telling you, I think there's gonna be something, because the thing is, it's just like everything that's gonna happen, and you would think that, okay, what is actually gonna be like Tariq? Like, what's gonna happen to Tariq? Like, obviously nothing. He's not gonna die. Obviously, like, you can forget all that. Like, he ain't gonna die. But will he actually lose Tasha in the process? Because keep in mind, he's trying to like steal Noma's business and try to like take it for himself. But at the same time, if he does this, will he actually lose Tasha? Right? Like, will he lose Tasha in the process of him trying to like obtain everything that he's trying to get? And you know, some things happen where if Monet and Tasha go at it or whatever, and let's just say something happens, you know, and Tasha actually dies, then it could be like, well, this is everything that you've technically wanted. You wanted to reach the top, but now you're starting to lose the people that's closest to you, right? And when you look at Brayden as well in the next season, which oh my god, I can't wait to see, because Brayden killed his uncle. And you know, obviously, like, he came back at the end to like help out Tariq, but I just don't get the feeling that he's just gonna like, okay, the flip of the switch, he's gonna become a stone cold nah. Like, Brayden is gonna take him more of a courage to do it, like, again, for him to like seriously kill somebody. I mean, again, the shootout counts, but I mean, he killed his own uncle. Like, come on now. Because remember back in back when like the first season of Raising Kanan, where Kanan was basically saying that when you kill somebody, like, you will never forget that kill, and it'll kind of like stick with you for like a while, because remember, when Kanan was in that car with Symphony, he was all types of messed up. And then when you find out later on, it was just like, yeah, that Howard is his father, and it's still, again, like, it just kind of like messed him up. So you would think that in the next season, Brayden, he might still be kind of messed up, because even when he was explaining in the last season how he was kind of like still messed up after the fact that he had to kill his own uncle, and it just didn't feel right to him. It just felt off. So I'm thinking like in the next season, I feel like he's still gonna have like this off feeling, but then at the same time, it's gonna be a way of survival, because it's gonna be him and Tariq potentially like on the run, and they may get like some sort of outside assistance, either it be Mahoney, somebody else, potentially Tommy, who else, like we don't know like who could potentially help them. But at the same time, it's just like we don't know what type of Brayden we're gonna be getting in the next season, because if we get this type of Brayden where he's like, okay, he's still shook up off after his uncle's death, but then at the same time, he's slowly gonna start to like get into the role of the killing. Then I think Brayden's way of becoming a murderer is gonna be like a very, very slow process, and then eventually he might start to do some things, because keep in mind, when him and Tariq had that conversation where he told Tariq, he was just like, he didn't want to end up like him. He didn't want to like be like him when he loses his entire family. But Brayden is starting to end up like Tariq just a tad bit, because in the last season, he already lost his uncle. He had to kill his own uncle for his own survival. And then his father, he has to, like Robert Weston, like he has to take care of the responsibilities, because technically his brother messed up. And then since law enforcement was looking into things, like, wait a minute, like the entire business is a Ponzi scheme, the Weston family isn't gonna survive that much longer financially, I would say, because even though their assets is kind of like frozen, but again, they took a large hit. And when you take a large hit like that, it's kind of hard for you to like recover. So again, and then on top of that, you have Monet and Kane robbing from them, because since they lost their money in the Ponzi scheme, so they're like, listen, now you have to pay us. So it ain't looking good. It's not looking good for Brayden at all. It is not looking good for him. So I think this could probably turn him more darker. It could turn him more darker and be like, listen, I might have to start picking up that gun and start taking people out. So I think his turn is slow, but I think it's going to be more effective in the next season. I think so. And then we got, before I get to Diana and Drew, cuck-ass Kane and Effie. Oh, boy. Cuck-ass Kane. Because, I mean, yeah, he's like, Effie's his girl. But the thing is, he don't fully know Effie. Effie told Tariq some very personal information when they was in the car together, which I don't think she's ever going to tell Kane about. I don't think she will. Because Kane is just like, well, Tariq wasn't a will man, but I'm a will man, and I'm going to take care of you, girl.
Well, since I met your family, you've been obsessed with me, and I peeped that. Okay. That's why you fucking with Effie to try to get back at me. You want to be me, my nigga. I understand that.
Listen, you left Shorty in pieces, all right? I had to pick up those pieces, so you can't be mad at her for fucking with a real nigga.
Beta! I'm gonna take care. Fuck Tariq. So I'm like, listen, I think what's gonna probably happen in the next season, I think that Effie's gonna probably feel she hasn't fully like given up on Tariq. I mean, after when he got her out of prison, or out of holding, I should say, and then they was kind of like having that conversation. They was talking, and she was just like, oh, like, what about the stuff that we was talking about in Italy? And again, which was a fumble on Tariq's part, because he was just like, well, I don't give a fuck, this and that, without knowing that, listen, if Effie kind of like betrayed you in the past, and then she kind of made up, right? It's just like he fucked up. Like that's like the little tidbit I said. Like Tariq just fucked up, because he was just like, well, I don't give a fuck anymore, and I'm just gonna cheat and do whatever. But I think after all of that Tariq did, and after the lies that she did as well, I think that she's gonna like she's gonna have to like cave and be like, all right, I miss Tariq. Sorry, Kane, I gotta go back to Tariq. Because again, Tariq is smart and he's very crafty. So the one thing that he's failing to understand is this, that he will never beat Tariq. He will never beat Tariq. He will never be smarter than Tariq, and he will never fully understand Tariq and how he moves. Right? He can only try to emulate what he does, but it doesn't work out. It really doesn't work out at all. So I'm just like, listen, he's going to be in the middle of it. But I think that let's just say, if there's anyone that's pregnant or any of that, right? And somebody shoots somebody without knowing who's actually the father, and to test results find out later it was who knows who baby, then it's going to be something. Because I think that what could happen if Kane finds out that, I don't know, Effie wants to go back to Tariq, I think he might kill her. I think he might kill her, because he might be like, after everything that I did for you, you want to still go back with him? Nah, son, I don't know if I can appreciate that, and he might do something. He might do something out of like rage and shit, because he's gonna be like, I did everything for you and you just gonna leave me to go back to Tariq? Nah, son, I can't have that. I can't have that. And then he might pull the trigger, and who knows? Like I said, if they decide to throw that out there, like I'm pregnant or whatever, then sure. But if not, then they might keep it clean. Because I know Courtney Kip did say before she didn't like that pregnancy stuff. And this was back in, I think, season 2 of Power Book 2, where she was just like, Tariq always kept condoms and this and that. It was just like, no. But see, if it's not Effie, then you could probably say maybe Diana. Because the thing is, when it comes out to Tariq and Diana, Tariq is stupid. He just keeps leaving stuff around, and like, I'm like, huh? Like, unless he was to purposely do it like the second time, but the first time when she was in his room, and then, I think, what was it? Because because at the time when Lorenzo sent Drew and Diana to go to Stansfield to get the drugs, and she was basically in his room again. So I'm like, come on, son, like, Tariq is stupid. Like keep in mind. I understand. I understand. Like, if you with a young lady, right, and you trust her with the condom, right, and you like, oh, you got condoms. You say yeah, and then next thing you know, you have sex with him. Like, oh my God, it feels so good. And then you blast. Well, guess what? I'm pregnant. How you pregnant? Well, the condom popped. Then you find out the condom didn't pop. I think the shit was cut open with fucking punched with scissors and knives and shit. Then you find out, wait a minute, you trapped me again. I'm not saying Diana would do that. I'm not saying she would do that, but I mean, you never know. Because this entire the last season, she was jealous a little bit jealous, where Tariq was with Effie, and she wanted to be with Tariq and not Effie being with Tariq. So again, it could be a way of, I mean, again, because she does have some sort of feelings for Tariq as well. But then at the same time, her antics on what she did, I mean, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for neither. It's not looking good for neither one of them, I should say, because they both like Tariq, but neither one of them might not get Tariq. Because I think what could happen too in the next season, Tariq might be using people. He probably might play one of them to see, okay, how can he get back in? And again, the only two people that can probably potentially like let him back in would be either Effie or Diana. But again, Diana, I think, will be a little bit more dangerous than Effie, because Effie and Tariq have more history with each other. So I think if anybody was to like get any sort of connection or back in, would probably be Effie, right? But then again, Effie, Tariq kind of burnt her, so Effie is gonna take a long time, not a long time, but like a while for that trust to like be rebuilt again, right? If he's trying to like get some sort of way back into even getting close to taking out Noma, right? And maybe the rest of the Tejada film, but we don't know. We don't know how that's gonna like play out, but I'm just speculating on my part. And then we got like Drew and Diana. Now again, they plan was to have Tariq kill Monet and then have Kane take out Tariq. That was their plan. But then their plan failed because Tasha intervened, and that's when she tried to kill Monet, which failed. So basically, I think that what could happen between them, I think they're still going to keep the secret to themselves, not tell nobody about their little secret. But again, Kane is kind of dumb for not even seeing this, that technically if they love Lorenzo the most and the hardest, because Lorenzo basically favored them both over him a little bit, then you wouldn't think that, well, technically they've had something to do with it, because they was pissed the most about what happened with Lorenzo and then how he died. So he's not even thinking right now. Obviously, yeah, because Monet got shot and he's technically mama's boy, and he favored his mom more. So he's not seeing things. He got tunnel vision. He's not really seeing things. And plus, he has Effie by his side. So again, he's not seeing things. He just sees it as, oh, it was Tariq, it was Tariq, it was Tariq. But eventually, the truth is going to come out, where he's going to find out, like, okay, how did this happen? Monet never really leaked out anything. Who was the person that decided to, like, leak out all this information? Because she's going to be thinking about this too. Like, if I didn't leak out this information, who actually did? And the only person she's going to probably start thinking about, or if that information gets let to her, it was obviously Diana that actually did this. Diana was the one to have pulled the trigger and started, like, giving out letters and informations to where you had Tommy try to come after Tasha, which was, again, it was kind of like on Diana's part, because again, she was out for revenge. She was hurt. She was pissed off. So I'm just like, okay, sure, right? Now, again, I'm still thinking that if the truth does come out, I don't think Monet is gonna kill her kids. I just don't think that. I think what could happen is she probably might tell them, like, listen, you're disowned from this family. I never want to see y'all again. If y'all ever come back here again, y'all will die. And I think Kane will probably be her sole guy, like her one and only true son that's going to be by her side through thick and thin. Because again, Drew never wanted to be a part of it, but it was because since Lorenzo was, like, prepping him up, he was just like, all right, I'll take the mantle of it. And since he died, now he's claiming he wants to be in control. And then Diana just wanted to go to college and school, but since Monet said, no, I want to keep you close, it was just like, okay, I gotta do something about this, because you're smothering me. Because Tariq is going down this road on trying to have everything, which he will probably lose more. Brayden is with Tariq, and he's starting to lose, and he may lose more, right, depending on how the situation goes for him. And then we have Noma and Obi, and I think Obi will die. Because how did Tariq and how did all of this stuff happen? I mean, yeah, he's keeping things, like, close to the vest, but I think information and word will get out, like, okay, how did Tariq know this? How did Tariq know that? Somebody's feeding him information. Now, I think before that happens, I think Noma's going to look into everybody. She's going to look into everybody, like, okay, who's been feeding, like, Tariq this information? Which I think that Obi probably might be like, who was the one that was closest to Tariq? They're going to look at Effie. Be like, wait a minute, you was the only one that was closest to Tariq. Are you the one? Are you sure you're not feeding him information? Oh, I promise I'm not feeding him information. Which everybody's going to start to look at Effie and be like, I don't know. I think that probably might happen. All right. And then maybe if Effie does get casted out or not, and then the truth does come out that it was really Obi. Because I think Obi will probably try to, like, take some sort of form of action against Noma to evil, because he doesn't want to be a part of it. He wants to be out as well. So I think what can happen too, that he might take some sort of form of action, but I think his actions is going to cause some sort of fuck up, and it might actually get him killed. That's what I see too. I think that might actually happen, where he might do something that's completely off script and might actually get him killed. So I don't see Obi lasting for, like, a very long time. And Noma, I think Noma might not die. I think Noma probably might get an easy escape. I think so. I think somebody probably might hold a gun to her daughter's head, or might get the drop on her daughter Anya, and be like, listen, if you don't leave this shit right now, I think I'm gonna clip your daughter, and then I'm gonna clip you. Right, because since Noma is a very strategic woman, it's gonna be really hard for anybody to get the drop on her. Despite Tariq throwing out the line like, well, your daughter and this and that, but then Effie stepped in and was just like, oh, we got that covered. We already got people on her. So again, it's gonna be really hard for Tariq to even get his hands onto Noma, without like having like a few pieces on the inside, which I think it could potentially be Obi and maybe Effie, because again, if more information gets leaked out to Tariq, they're gonna be like, who's leaking this, and the only person they're gonna be looking at is definitely gonna be Effie, because Effie known Tariq the longest. So they're gonna be all eyes is gonna be on her and be like, I don't know if we should trust you. You need to prove your loyalty, this and that. That's what I think that could happen. So it may be either Effie and Obi that might be, potentially helping out Tariq. I think, because again, I don't see Diana doing it because she's still sticking to the plan. So it's just like, no. But again, we're gonna have to like wait and see on the next season on what can actually happen between like Don Carter and maybe a Monet love interest that could potentially happen. If anybody ends up pregnant, or some new deaths that could probably shock and surprise everybody and be like, oh, I did not see that coming. And also too, my man 2-Bit, that's also gonna be looming around in the shadows. Be like, hey man, I come to collect. So Tariq, where this money at? And Tariq ain't gonna have no product, no money, unless his new connector supply could be Mahoney or anybody that's completely different, right? And he's gonna be looming around. Now I know there was some ideas floating around that Tariq could have used like 2-Bit to be like, well, he was the fall guy, but you can't really use him because he was already gone. So I was just like, I don't think you can like really use 2-Bit to be like, well, he was the one that shot Monet, without giving like proper, like without giving good reason as to why. So it's just like, no, I don't really see 2-Bit being used in that type of storyline, but I could see 2-Bit potentially helping out Tariq as a third guy. He could be another one that can also be helping him, because keep in mind, he saved him before when Kane had that GTG guy try to like assassinate Tariq. So I'm just saying, hey, you can have a third guy and Brayden be like, oh, who this? And be like, oh yeah, he 2-Bit. I know him. He from back in the days and shit. So it's just like, hey, I think 2-Bit might be around to potentially help out Tariq, because he wants money from him. So I'm just like, hey, you don't want your guy who's been supplying you with money and cars to end up dead. So I mean, you'll probably be helping out Tariq here and there, whatever. Like, listen, you need to pay me on time, or I might kill you myself or some shit. So I just be like, hey, 2-Bit's just gonna be chilling around, waiting for an opportunity to strike or whatever to get his money from Tariq. So I see that happening as well. But again, comment down below on what you guys think of Power Book 2. I was gonna say Power Book 4 Horse. Power Book 2 Go Season 4, and the possibilities that people could end up dead. Somebody could be maybe pregnant, or Tasha could probably be on her last run by next season. Because I mean, again, I don't know, the way she did that shit, I'm just looking at, I'm like, is she gonna live? She gonna die? I'm like, I don't know about Tasha. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you all in the next one.